Hello everyone. Please like, subscribe and turn notifications on. It's free and it supports the channel. Thank you. I 50M found out my wife 49F of 30 years had a brief affair November to February and I don't know where to go from here or even how to make a decision. My 50M wife 49F was a stay-at-home mom. We became empty nesters several years ago. Last fall she took a job working for someone who was a friend of ours. During the time she worked for him, she assured me he was gay. She would go out to his home after hours with my knowledge to help him with his computer or similar stuff. I missed her. I wanted her home. But it made her happy and I felt it was innocent. Since he was gay. Turns out he isn't gay. I caught her having sex with him February 7th. Over the next week she continued to contact him secretly while she said she was trying to work out things with me. I finally said I needed to see her Facebook, phone, etc. to see what had really been going on. Looking at her Facebook, I found out she had a number of single female friends whom she had been messaging about him and about me. And that she had been telling them awful lies about me for the last couple years. Mirroring the negative things they were saying about the men in their lives. She claimed she said those things to fit in. To be liked. She had done similar things a few other times in our marriage. Each time she had gotten together with a group of women who were upset with their partners and said terrible, untrue or extremely exaggerated things about me. Each time she has promised she would not do that to me again. Looking at her Facebook and text messages, I also found she was coaching the man she was having the affair with to do the things she liked in bed. I guess that makes sense. But it's a hard pill to swallow. I love her. I am committed to her. But I have to have loyalty, fidelity and partnership. I am 50. This is the only life I have. I can't wait another 10 years to see if she will be true to me. I don't feel I can talk to family or friends about this because it will permanently taint her in their eyes. No one has any idea what is really going on. I am coming to Reddit mostly to help me think through the process. She is away for the weekend at one of our son's houses. So I have a couple days to think. Here are questions I have. Am I being naive to think she will be loyal and faithful now when she hasn't been in the past? How do I determine the best path for my own life going forward? Thanks. You're right. I don't feel I can talk to family or friends about this because it will permanently taint her in their eyes. Why not? She does the same to you with her friends. There are ways of connecting with a group of people without belittling your so. Each time she has promised she would not do that to me again. Well, clearly her promises don't mean speep if she repeats her behavior. You can assume that she will probably repeat having an affair somewhere down the line. So yes. You are being naive. The real question is she willing to go to marriage counseling/therapy? Does she actually want to stop this behavior? If she doesn't want to, then maybe separation is the next best option. About your first point. It was inappropriate for her to disparage me. While there are ways of me talking to my family or friends about this, there isn't any way to talk about it without saying she had an affair and that will be something they will not forget. I am taking this one step at a time and trying to not do or say things that will create problems for me once I decide what I will do in the future. About your second. You may be right. She has certainly not been loyal to me in the past. I am not yet ready to accept she will probably have an affair in the future. She would go to counseling. But we actually did marital counseling for several years as counselors through our church. We are pretty acutely aware of the causes/hurts/etc. that go with this stuff. I don't there would be many new revelations if we sat down with a third party. She would go to counseling. But we actually did marital counseling for several years as counselors through our church. We are pretty acutely aware of the causes/hurts/etc. that go with this stuff. I don't there would be many new revelations if we sat down with a third party. You said you did counseling. But you two were the ones administering it. There might yet be value in shining the light directly on your own relationship through counseling, as opposed to indirectly by being the administrators. You might also want to consider individual therapy, given what you said about her need to make up horrible things in order to fit in with her friends. The reason being you need to discover exactly why your wife is engaging in this destructive behavior. What the root causes of it are. Having a third party there could provide perspective that the two of you are too close to see for yourselves. Good point. I am 50. This is the only life I have. I can't wait another 10 years to see if she will be true to me. I'm in roughly the same age bracket. Also long married. So I can imagine how much this hurts. At our age, it's fair and appropriate to evaluate people by their track record. Not only did she cheat on you, which may have been a one-time thing, but she has a track record of disparaging you, telling lies about you, to make cheap points with other people. At her age, she ought to be too mature to engage in such petty self-esteem games. Even if she's faithful from here on out, I'm afraid I have to doubt that she'd be loyal. I don't feel I can talk to family or friends about this because it will permanently taint her in their eyes. No one has any idea what is really going on. And whose fault would that be? If you need the support of friends and family in this time, then go get it. Why for no? I'd have trouble caring about the reputation of someone who has shown herself so ready and willing to trash mine. If you need to talk to other people, talk. I don't see where she gets a vote. Unfortunately, you can't go back to the way things were before. But you can still find a solution that will make you happy. Hang in there. Thank you. It's good to hear from someone in my general situation. Your measured response is encouraging. I've been in your position though I'm younger, and I was with my ex-husband for 15 years. First off, I'm so sorry for your pain and heartbreak. Second, I really recommend 1. Seeing a marriage counselor and 2. Seeing an individual therapist. The marriage counseling will take time to work, minimum 6 months to a year. Partially to help you and your wife potentially come to a stronger relationship, but also to show you how willing she is to put the affairs behind her and be in a relationship together. It may take you some time to find a marriage counselor who will work for you both, you individually and for you both. It will be expensive. But if you decide to stay in the marriage, the money will be worthwhile. I loved my ex-husband, but his behavior and lies in the aftermath of what I discovered left me angry, and I'm not generally an angry person. The betrayal was too much for me. In the end, he left me. But 6 months later and I'm starting to see that I'm in a better place. Do I wish we could have stayed together and found a way? Absolutely. He was my whole world. But for that to have happened, I needed to learn to communicate my feelings and desires rather than just let him dictate everything in our relationship, and he needed to step up and recognize that putting everyone else over me needed to stop. I wish you peace. I'm sorry you've been through this as well. I see that throughout our marriage my belief that I had to love and support her no matter what, as Christ loved the church, meant no matter what she did or didn't do. I needed to be there for her. Now that I am no longer a Christian 10 years, I can see I need to be clear about my needs in our relationship. That's actually what precipitated the affair. I told her last August I needed her to be an equal partner with me in our lives. We have our own business. But I was carrying all the emotional burdens that go with it. She refused to do anything she didn't like. I told her I needed her to, like me, do what needed to be done, not just what she wanted to do. That's why she said she had the affair. She wanted to find someone else to take care of her. That is, by far, the lamest excuse for an affair I've ever heard. You should see it for what it is. A complete lie to make you feel bad. When I think about it from her perspective, it was a cruel thing to say. I didn't take it as my fault. But to say it takes a lot of malice. It also takes a lot of delusional thinking. She could fully believe that that's why she's peeping other guys. She's too much of an asshole to see she's boning him because it works for her. Man. After 30 years, I think you need to be seeing a therapist/psychologist that specializes in marriage at this point. If I was in your shoes, that's what I would do and not listen to the armchair psychologist here and his sub. Best of luck and sorry to hear this happened. I don't like this idea. It bothers me. But you are probably right. It very likely is literally the only way you two could ever have a healthy relationship again. Or ever. It's hard to say if you had one. By your description, you shouldering everything while she flounced about. Got her nails done. And, well, talks beep about you. Sounds bad. Man. But therapy is really crucial after infidelity. Rebuilding trust isn't something we'll likely manage on your own. Divorce. Though, yeah. You can do that without anyone's help. Really? Am I being naive to think she will be loyal and faithful now when she hasn't been in the past? I think it would be very naive. Your wife is 49 years old, I'm 22. So over twice my age, and doesn't realize that she doesn't have to be in groups that center around husband bashing. Instead, she proceeds to tell lies about you to fit in. I don't know about you, but I would expect my wife to tell that group to shove it up their ass instead of talk speak about me. What's even more naive is her actions after she was caught. Usually cheaters go into a temporary honeymoon phase where you are the love of their life again. She goes off a week after cheating to talk to this guy again. Obviously you're not her one priority. You're down amongst taking out the trash and feeding the dog. How do I determine the best path for my own life going forward? First, get rid of her. Yes. It will be hard on the kids. Yes. It will be hard on her. Yes. It will be hard on you. But she's obviously made it clear that she doesn't care about you anymore. She'd rather say cutting words about her husband to fit in with a group than leave the group and retain her dignity. She'd rather explain to her affair mate that her husband caught her and to lay low for a while instead of working on her marriage and recovering what 20 years of marriage built. Find someone else who will make you happy and don't use age as an excuse. My grandma died when she was 60 and my grandpa 65 or so at the time got remarried. It's never too late. I know Lewis Black is somewhere screaming his head off as I type this, but 50 is the new 40. Get out there. Date. Find someone new who appreciates you and don't mind telling some bitchy women in their midlife crisis to go suck a dick when they start husband bashing. Thanks for this. She goes off a week after cheating to talk to this guy again. Actually, she went to see him the next morning after getting caught. She contacted him several times over the next week, which I was able to verify via our cell phone bill, and one of them was a text telling him I was crazy and that's why she couldn't work for him anymore. Writing that out for someone else to read really makes things much more obvious. She really didn't and probably doesn't get it. Find someone else who will make you happy and don't use age as an excuse. I might find someone else. I also might choose not to. At this point I can't see the benefit in getting remarried. Though that might change. Actually, she went to see him the next morning after getting caught. My face. So, to recap, she bashes you in front of her friends to fit in. Sleeps with another man. And then calls you crazy when you found out? How did you live for 30 years with this chick? I might find someone else. I also might choose not to. At this point I can't see the benefit in getting remarried. Though that might change. At least you're leaving the option open. That's good. Don't shoot down relationships just because your wife, hopefully soon to be ex-wife, doesn't know the difference between a dick and a doorknob. I guess I have been with her for 30 years because there were some good times and the sex was consistent and good, and because I thought marriage was for life. Thank you for being blunt. The truth stings. But truth is truth. Well op. I think you should reach out to someone. Not internet people. Someone close to the situation who knows your relationship. Be it her family or yours. We give advice on infidelity a lot here. But a 30-year marriage is just too big for us to decide if it's worth breaking off or not. They can tell you better than we can our odds of changing or if this is worth saving. Possibly couples therapy if you're really fixed on having an outside opinion. I know this is good advice, though it's tough for me to do. Examining why you are incapable of outing her is key. Most of the reasons you've given for not telling seem selfless. You don't want your friends and family to think less of her. But I think it's more likely that being cheated on is humiliating and emasculating. And you don't want to reveal that you are a cuckold. That is a very old-fashioned point of view. I think a more fair point of view is that, while every set of marital dynamics is unique, you can never be at fault for someone else's speed behavior. That kind of embarrassment is similar to the way beaten wives feel embarrassed for their abusive husbands. It's very convenient for a bad person to have shamed their partner. It means they don't have to expend any effort at all in maintaining their social ties. The only reason someone would think less of you for this is if you endured it over and over again, refusing to leave. So maybe that's your worry. You know you're too comfortable to actually get out. So you at least want the veneer of respectability. If it helps motivate you? I doubt everyone thinks you two are hunky-dory. Not the least reason because she keeps running her mouth and telling lies. Anyway, I could be off base. But it's worth really being honest with yourself about this. I don't mind telling our friends, and I don't think it speaks poorly of me. I truly just know people are virtually unable to get past stuff like this. If we are going to stay married, I didn't want that to mar our mutual friendships. But it sounds as if getting this out at least to some of my close friends might help me and allow me to see things the way they are. Not through a distorted mirror. Look. We'll keep going with the metaphors so you know this really is the best course of action. A 30-year marriage is a long piece of work with many details and a lot of work put into it. It's a painting put together by the finest artist of the time. There are 3 viewpoints. Your own, as a character in the painting. A very limited, subjective view. Someone in a different room from the picture who only hears how it looks to one singular observer. Someone standing a couple feet back, taking the whole picture in first hand. Which one of these viewpoints sounds like it would have the best insight into the painting? God knows it's hard to open up. But so is getting cheated on. If you were strong enough to go through the latter and get out alive, you're strong enough for the former. And on top of that, not only will you find insight, you'll find support. Going through troubles with someone in your